Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the 25th episode of the Amateur Expert Show. It's your girl Ashley, the Amateur Expert, and I am excited to have you here watching my 25th show. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it today because I'm excited, but yes, I'm excited to have you here. I am interviewing a good friend of mine, Q Reeves. He will be joining us shortly. In case this is your first time watching, the concept of the show is to talk to people about their career path, about their idea of success, and the tips and motivators they use along the way. In the 25 episodes that I've done thus far, I've learned a lot from, or I guess 24. I've learned a lot from the guests, and I hope that they have been of value to you as well. So Quentin has entered the room, and we're going to get started. Hello, hello, and welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Well,
Awesome, happy to hear it. So, Q, this is new for me calling you that, but can you do me a favor, please? Introduce yourself to the audience and then tell them a little bit about what you do currently for work.
okay. My name is Quentin Q Reeves. I go by Q Reeves. I am a subconscious specialist. Another word for it could be like a metaphysical therapist or a mental worker. I do mental work, mind work. So I do different forms of mental therapy that involves allowing you to access certain parts of yourself you don't often pay attention to or even know it's affecting you.
Love it. So, you and I go back to SBS St. Brendan's third grade, I think is when I got there. And so at that point in your life, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Wow, that actually brings it back a little bit. So around that time, I had a lot of influence by of course, my dad raised me, you know that, or I was around my dad a majority of the time, but a big influence was my uncle because he was a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that he was doing well for himself and helping people at the same time. And I was just like, there has to be a way that there has to be another profession or maybe that profession that could kind of let you help people and still be sustained. So I wanted to be a preacher.
So I just had a flashback to, I don't remember what we called ourselves, but do you remember we formed like singing groups?
Yeah, I do remember that.
All right, I'm sorry. So, go ahead. I think it was a girl group and a boy group. But anyways, so
yeah, we had a lot of fun back then. Life ain't the same no more.
So yeah, sorry. So you wanted to be a preacher.
Yeah, I wanted to be a preacher.
And the motivating factor behind that was it was something that you saw your uncle was doing as well as, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we were struggling, you know. We went to a Catholic school, that you know, and it's expensive. It was so expensive. So my dad had issues paying for me and my sister and really like having the things we want. We had the things we needed, but having the things we want. So every time I saw him, he had more than what he needed and he had a lot of wants. So I think it was his lifestyle that attracted me. But then I got turned off or pushed away from it based on his character, based on certain things he did. He was supposed to like advocate a certain role, but he wasn't living what he was preaching.
Understood. And so what was your idea of success at that time?
Not worrying about what I was eating for dinner. It was kind of short. Like not being hungry going to bed. That was my idea of success. So not going hungry before going to bed. But see here, this is the thing that always bothered me. I could never do something that made me feel less or bad about myself. So like, I wasn't going to go sell nobody's drugs or go rob someone just so I could eat, because then I would have, that wasn't it. So I needed to figure out some way of sustaining myself without taking advantage of people. I don't think there's enough people who do that.
I agree. And you weren't interested in taking over the other family business?
Barber? No. So my family is a family of barbers, and I didn't want to do something that dealt with like the show, like that dealt with like glamour or like beauty. Like I feel like we lost and not enough. So I gave that to them. And on top of that, they wasn't even sustaining themselves to the level of someone who was dealing with the internal was. So I was like, I'm trying to go to the direction of the internal, because then I feel maybe it'll sustain you better. I didn't really have all the understanding like I do now, but that was good enough for me.
So how did you transition? And I'm sure there's a long path from wanting to be a preacher to being a
it's hard. Subconscious specialist, a metaphysical therapist.
Yes.
Well, like I said, when I saw his character was tested, when I saw that he wasn't practicing what he was preaching, I then realized that it wasn't just him, that it was a influx of all influencers, because we could use that word now. Now, back then, we didn't look at them as influencers, but influencers. And what a lot of people don't know is that, because he was a Baptist preacher, a lot of the Baptist churches receive a tax cut and also gets grants and funding from the government. Not a lot of people know that. And shortly after 9/11, especially around 2004, it like cracked. A lot of the money dried up. A lot of churches weren't getting the funds or money. So I then started to see preachers really do different things. And this is when we started seeing all kind of stuff come out, you know, taking advantage of people and all that stuff. So it was tainted. It was tarnished. Like I was never going to enter a market. I felt that was like tainted or tarnished. And that was it. So I said, I'm going to have to probably create my own market. That's why like the words are a little hard and people are not used to it, because I'm doing something that doesn't exist.
Okay.
So
what steps did you take to, how did you come up with
this?
Your solution?
So starting to realize that in life, I was always intuitive and I was always thinking a little different than everybody else. But I kind of brought that out into what's going on in our life. Like, what if, like, I would hear people explain things and I would say to myself, like, that doesn't make sense. Or that doesn't resonate. Like, I don't get it. And I got tired of saying that. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't resonate. I don't understand. Like, you're speaking to me like I'm a college graduate. Why can't you talk to me like your child? Like something that's simple. That it got to the point where I was getting so overwhelmed with information, I started to get anxiety. So I said, there has to be another solution for this. So I started looking for more natural ways of resolving this anxiety. So I looked into something called quantum healing. So basically I started on YouTube, a video came up where there was this lady, she was like hypnotizing a person, but it wasn't like follow the watch and, you know, bark like a dog. Like, no, they were talking about their past lives. They were talking about speaking with angels. They were just speaking on all kind of stuff. And I was like, what is this? And I don't think I would have actually got into it if I didn't try something called salvia. So salvia in New Haven, when I was living there, was legal. So this was back in around 2009 or 10. So I didn't know. I was going to a smoke shop to buy some concert tickets. And there was like these little capsules and it looked like bud. And I was like, oh, is that, you know, we're in California now? And he was like, no, it's completely different. And I was like, what's different? He explained it to me. I was interested. I didn't get it right away. I did a little research. But when I did do it, I had an out-of-body experience and literally like went out of my body and went to a completely different, you know what? I had an out-of-body experience, but yet my body came back. So I won't say I had an out-of-body experience. I'll say I had an out-of-world experience. It wasn't out of body. I was in my body the whole time. I was in another world. Like I saw like creatures, and I saw things that our society would say would be crazy if I explained what I saw. But I saw it and felt it. And ever since then, it made me come to the point where I had and what these are is it's a way of going through like a life lesson quicker than a whole span of life. Like you get thrown into like realizing what you're here for. And what I've noticed is that you can't hold on to anything. That the moment you try to hold on and keep anything, whether it's clothes, any of that stuff, is when you get trapped here. And the only way you can't get trapped here is by letting things go. So at that time, I was a stay-at-home dad. I had a girlfriend, my 2 kids. All this stuff was going on in my life. And I was like, I have to not forget this. I got to keep this.
Right.
And it made me forget that. It made me like let it go. And at that moment, I was reborn. And nothing was ever the same for me after that. And then everything kind of just fell in line for me, from the YouTube video to me actually, as soon as I finished with my own, it's called a regression. When I was done with my own regression, I was so confident to go try it. I went home and tried it on my girlfriend. And I actually was able to do the same thing that this lady did to me. And I just kept going with it. And now it's like, I've probably done over 280 people.
Wow.
And I've taught myself, all self-taught.
I was going to ask you that. So is that something you get a certificate for? Is it like, do you go get trainings? Is there...
Every training is based off of someone who created their own program, and then are charging people to train under them. And there's no certification for this. You know, there's no... a lot of states don't even make you have a license for hypnosis.
Okay.
So, and my point is because they don't take it serious. It's science doesn't take this serious, and that's why I'm trying to bring in an element of science to these things so that it can't be denied. So, no, it just takes confidence.
And would you compare what you do to hypnosis, or is it not the same?
Well, so it could be what you're dealing with is a person having you travel through the different states of your brain: alpha, beta, delta, theta, gamma. These are the different brain waves. These are the different sounds of you, mental sounds. Most of us stay in what we call an alpha or beta state. An alpha would be like, I am God, I am ruler, I am in control, I am the alpha. So you're constantly tuned into that frequency, and that's the way your brain is thinking. And then you have a beta. Now, and the way I break things down is based on words that we use. A beta is like a test. A beta is like the precursor for the real thing. So it's the beta to what? It could potentially be the beta to an alpha or an ego, or a beta to what comes next, which would be the delta state. Like a tip, you know, the deltas. And this then gets you in a path or a direction internally. And hypnosis deals with what we will call the theta state. And what the theta state does is it completely influences the body. A secret in hypnosis is the body cannot differentiate between a dream and reality, meaning that the body doesn't know if it's real or dreaming. You know that because when you go to sleep, if you dream peeing, you actually might go to the bathroom on yourself because your body cannot decide the difference between the two. So that's what hypnosis is jacking into the body where then they influence you, and your body doesn't know the difference between your own commands or its commands. This actually happens in movies. This happens in music. Hypnosis is a cultural thing. We are all hypnotized. We are all influenced by sound.
Interesting.
So hypnosis is playing with the body while I'm healing the body. That's the whole goal, and identifying whatever has attached itself or locked, like a memory. Certain memories get locked away within the body, and then those memories then spill out into adult behaviors like insecurity, disloyalty. I had one client. He was raped as a boy. He's a bodybuilder, and I even explained to him that the whole concept of him bodybuilding is because he doesn't trust anything, and he has to feel protected and be in control and make sure that never happens to him again. I said, that's a lost, a locked memory in you. You don't even know that's driving you to go lifting weights every day.
Right.
What are you doing it for? He didn't even have an answer.
Right.
So I'm with you. I mean, I do a lot of talking, so I try to like dub it down a little bit.
No, it's okay. This is really good information, so I appreciate you sharing. Also, what is your idea of success currently?
A successful self is a successful world. So someone asked me, this might be a little arrogant, but this is just how I believe. So someone asked, when would I believe the term when was America great? You know, the big debate where it's like T.I. was asking the girls, like, tell me a time when America was great.
Yep.
I'll tell you my simple answer. America was great when I was born.
Okay.
America was great and will stay great when I'm here. Same for you. Same for anyone who understands their purpose here. And it's not to just run away from responsibilities or self. It's taking accountability and moving forward. So greatness is a self thing. Success is a self thing. But you cannot be successful until you identify how you connect with others, relate with others, how you are just a reflection of other people. So success to me is understanding who and what you are in this realm or world or universe.
Awesome. So on your journey, what tips and motivators did you use to get you through?
So I realized that we're depending on what we call like masters, people who are kind of telling us what we need to do. And what I realized is that even like in school, we went to school, we had a 6th grade teacher who prided herself on being informed, but as soon as life hit her hard, what did she do? She relied on us. Remember Miss Cullen or whatever her name is, the 6th grade teacher? She was like, her husband got diagnosed or something. I don't remember, but I just.
Oh yeah, sorry, you went out for a second, but Mrs. Cullen, yep.
Yeah, Mrs. Cullen, she would be like a master, someone who was parading like, I'm a teacher. I know what I'm talking about. I'm good. I'm great. But at the core of it, she was broken. And that's the problem. We're listening and relying on broken people. They're broke. You have to realize that the biggest tool is self. But look how you're using the tool of self. Beat everyone up. Beat self up. Hate everyone else. Hate self. I mean, this is literally how you use the tool of you. And it's unfortunate.
So how did you come to that realization?
I developed something I call the muscle of trust. So I know in our body, including your brain is a muscle. So in order for you to advocate or strengthen that muscle, you have to encourage it, reinforce it. So how do I reinforce my muscle or my brain? Completely with trust. I would never deny or rely on anyone else to give me my own validation or to tell me that I can trust myself. I don't need that. I came to the conclusion that something motivates me out that bed, and it ain't outside of me. So I realized that trust, that aspect of it is internal. So I started trusting myself in everything I do, from the information I speak to the way I walk, to the way I talk, to the way I move. It's completely off of a system of trust. Not doubt, not insecurity, not less, not lack, none of that. It's been that way for about a year now. An exceptional outcome because you dictate your reality.
Yeah, that is dope. And I can't wait to tap into that for myself.
You can get that regression. You need to get it for yourself. Not a lot of people know about it though, so I understand. It's a lot of Hollywood has put us in a position of fear. And fear is it is an unfortunate polarity that even the heart is pulling from. Now, when I do these different lectures, I explain words and break down words. So like the word fear.
Mm-hmm.
When we break down words, I explain the importance of paying attention to words within words, because then you can get a deeper understanding of what it might be saying.
Mm-hmm.
So the word fear, it actually has two words in it as well, outside of just the word fear.
Mm-hmm.
The first word is ear. Why does fear associate with the ear? The other word would be Fe, F-E.
Mm-hmm.
Fe on the periodic table is the element for iron.
Iron, yep.
So why does fear associate with iron? Well, once you start to go beyond just your standard religion, you start to learn deeper things and realize that each planet connects to metals. Mars is the planet that connects to iron. Mars is also a deserted planet. It is, they said that there was life on Mars. Excuse my language, but who fucking life do you think it was? It was us. Where do we go? Where else do we go? Energy doesn't die or create it, transferred or transformed. So where else would we have gone or come from? It's direction. So when you even look at Mars, when you deal with the planet of Mars, you're dealing with the fear of self. You're dealing with what happened on that planet that produced the level of fear within one specific place. That's your heart. Now here's the secret science I want to tell you. Your iron is being pumped through your heart. That is the central point where all the iron converges. So why does Fe, which is iron, connect with fear? Because they're putting fear in your heart. At the core of you is fear. So you have to wake up. Stop being scared of the boogeyman.
I am learning things. This is interesting.
Yeah, so you also have to understand you're dealing with planets. Planets produce sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be what the ear is. You're actually hearing the fear that's coming from Mars. That's coming from this fourth system as we're trying to get into this fifth system. Remember, 25 25th interview.
Yeah,
My name is Quinten. Quin means fifth in Latin. 10 is the 50th element. Those are 2 5s. See how those things connect? It's deep thing.
That's crazy. And that was not planned.
No, not at all.
That was not planned.
Not at all.
I definitely want to talk to you some more offline. But what are my other questions? I'm like,
you good. This happens. It's different.
So your idea of success, what success means to you. Can you, although you already have, teach me a random fact? I consider myself to know a little bit about a lot. I call myself the amateur expert. So if
a random fact?
Please teach me a random fact.
Okay. Remember that facts is relative. So facts is based on...
Or tidbit of information.
Oh, no, I got you. I'm just making sure you know.
Yes,
facts is relative. So it's based on what realm of thought you pull from. Fun fact. All bodies, every single body on this planet is female.
Interesting.
How? Why? Your body comes from one central point. It's called an egg cell. The egg cell dwells within your mom. You came from your father, a sperm cell. This was the concept of a spirit. And your spirit entered an egg. That egg actually became your body. It morphed into your body. That's why men have breasts. That's why a man's penis area is an elongated clitoris. Literally, every single thing on the human body is female. Externally, all bodies are female. Now, what do you get from your mother? Your body. What do you get from your father? Your brain. Because it is your sperm cell that actually morphs itself into your brain. That's why if you ever pay attention to a sperm cell, you get a big head and a little squiggly tail. because this big head grows to become your brain, and the squiggly tail actually becomes your spine.
That is something I did not know. Thank you so much for
Fun
that.
fact.
Can you please share with the audience your Instagram, Facebook, where they can find you, what
Definitely.
services you offer, how they can, how you
Reach
can
out
help
to me.
them? Yes.
So my site goes live mid-November. I've been revamping all of my images. I'm very particular how I want things to be. So what I did was I created a beta, a beta form. So right now everything is done via beta form. So email. Everyone reaches out to me via email.
Okay.
I mean, inbox me on Instagram. People inbox me on Facebook. People email me. The best way to find me is just to Google CUE Reeves. Q Reeves. Very easy to find me that way. Then you could kind of go over to my YouTube or my Facebook, my Instagram. You can also email me at Quentin, QUENTIN, not the letter, I spell it, CUE, Reeves, REAVES, at Gmail. There's different services I offer is extensive. I do something called name readings. All names are titles. You don't even know your title. You don't even know your role, because no one in our culture or society encourages these type of thoughts or behaviors. So unfortunately, people run their whole course of life not even knowing their own title. Do something called name readings. I do something called dream interpretation. A lot of people have very vivid dreams, very upsetting dreams at times, and want to know really what this means. So I do dream interpretation. I do what we call one-on-one therapeutic regressions or one-on-one therapeutic conference. It's basically a way of us speaking one-on-one about all the different things you're dealing with, experiencing all the books you've been reading, all this information. Same thing I was going through. I've been converged with so much information, I don't know which way is up or down or left or right. I help. I say I advocate a specific principle. It's called the womb. But I don't call it like a womb. It's an acronym for where our minds begin. Womb. So when I created this, I said to myself, I don't want to be nobody's leader, and I don't want anyone to follow me. I want us all to join. We're in a womb. We're in the body of a source, a being, a nourisher. I won't tell you if your God is male or female. I'm just saying, you choose your God. I prefer my God to be a nourishing one that kind of helps you grow and not breaks you down.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to join, and that's where I'm at with this. You know, allowing people to join in the emotion. And if someone can join in the emotion, they can maybe potentially help you understand the emotion. They can help you subdue the emotion, whatever. But when you have a person leading you, kind of telling you what you need to do with your emotion, or when you have a person who is so dismissive or so unemotional or empathic, they're just turning themselves off and don't want to hear or feel a thing. That's following, you know. I don't even want to deal with it. Like, that's where everyone's at right now. Okay, keep your head in the dirt. So we're joining now. Joining in realization that you are free, that we're sitting here relying on someone else to save us. That would imply you're not free. That you are free, and that you have the capability of having anything and everything you desire in life once you accept that you deserve it.
And that's that trust that you've been talking about. Trusting yourself.
For sure.
I love it. Thank you so much for doing this for me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for doing your work for yourself, right? So that you're able to do this for others. Again, thank you, 25th Show. I will have all of your information in the YouTube handle that should be out, or YouTube description, I should say. It will be posted within 24 hours.
Okay.
And yeah, this was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Make sure you reach out to me.
I will, for sure.
All right.